this episode of the Weird Obscure World podcast.
I have been abducted.
Wait, what?
The main forms they take are reptilian entities.
Go. Started now. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Cut Betsy off. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We've got Les in today.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. He's joining us. We're gonna talk some Bigfoot today. And yeah, we've got some news coming up. Should I head off the news?
Go ahead.
I got a fun story.
Okay, let's hear it.
So in Louisiana, in Louisiana on the Mississippi River, you can rent an Airbnb that's spectacular.
Okay, I've had one scary incidents with an Airbnb.
This one might scare you more.
I don't know. This one was terrifying.
It costs $300 a night, and it's a pirate ship.
Oh.
On the water?
On the water.
Like an actual pirate ship?
On the Mississippi. No, it's probably made up pirate ship.
I would totally dig this.
It's a pirate riverboat.
It looks awesome. Looks fantastic. It's got like a little gangplank that goes down, and it's tied to the shore. You're not going to float around or float away. But it's got the mast and the sails, and it's ruddy looking and grizzled, and has like a little porch walkway, I guess, going along it. It's beautiful. Has all the accoutrement you might want. And I think if you were doing like a big family vacation, this would be the ticket. The beds have, like, their pillows have the Jolly Roger on it, and Leviathan and skulls.
Really? I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it has like a sitting open bar area, but it's got the big wheel there and lanterns hanging, and
so
it's awesome. I'm showing it on the screen right now. I'm telling you, if you were going to have a family party, there is not a kid on earth who wouldn't love this ship. And it's got skeletons too. There's skeletons.
I would totally stay there.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
We rented an Airbnb in California, up in Northern California, and it showed that it was like a little log cabin.
Yeah.
And the pictures looked like it was clean and well kept and kind of off the beaten path. When we arrived, there was a tough shed that had log on the outside. And there was a creepy guy.
I got an Airbnb for rent. Now, you have to make your way around my lawnmower. But
I'm telling you. So I'm like, okay, this can't be it. As we get closer, we park. There's a creepy little pole trailer. And as we're walking, it gets worse.
When they call and making an appointment, I call up the honey bucket. Yep, I need you to drop one of them shitter trailers off.
No, so we're walking by, and
Private restrooms.
I didn't stop to look in the creepy
There's two
trailer.
of you coming, honey bucket. I need two.
But okay, we're walking by, and the first thing I noticed, one of those jujitsu dummies they're like the guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's 3 of those out in the woods. So I'm focused on those. I'm terrified. But as we're walking by, I'm hearing this strange noise, like zzz, and I start noticing there's cameras on the trees. So I'm like, you got your weapon, babe? And he's like, oh, it's locked in the lockbox. We're in California. I can still carry.
It's all the more reason to carry.
And I'm like, well, I'm not staying here.
How much did you pay?
I got my money back. It was like $200 a night.
Man.
So I'm like, okay, I've got to see this. So I take a video.
I will rent my shed for, we'll go $175. I'll undercut that shed. I'll sweep it out first too.
So
And throw in the toilet paper.
I take a video.
I think that comes with the honey bucket. And as Adam Carolla says, the Mexican hats.
Listen, I take a video because I'm like, I'm getting my money back for this. And as I'm taking the video, I'm like, I'm going to go see what's in that trailer. There was someone in the trailer. Now, he was
They
sleeping.
double booked it?
No, it was the owner. And he watches you on video camera. And he's got these stupid dummies set up that apparently, I don't know what they do, but they're terrifying. And it's a tough shed.
It's kind of like The Hills Have Eyes.
I got
Oh
I
my
got my money back.
God.
I peeked in the window and I was like, oh shit, someone's asleep in there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
No,
outstanding.
that's weird.
Yeah, and scariest Airbnb. I would definitely stay in the pirate ship.
The
So-
pirate ship looks awesome. It does. You see it on the screen. Betsy's computer has broken, so she can't jump on any screen now. She's just got her phone.
So my story comes to you from Italy.
Okay.
According to the president of the Farming Association, Cordelletti Etoile Prandini, he says that they have an infestation, so to speak, of wild boar,
Lousy with boar.
and that it's not that the ministries and leaders of the regions and the municipalities are working closely with the farmers to get this boar population under control. But the ones who are most upset by it at the current time are the local drug dealers. And they are because
The boar.
the drug dealers were heard complaining about their discovery when they were being listened to by police. The police were tapping a phone call, and the drug dealers were heard complaining about their discovery that 17,000 pounds worth of their cocaine.
That's the British
dollar
pound.
amount.
Yeah.
Yes. So 17,000 pounds worth of cocaine that they had stashed in the Tuscan forest.
Now, where's this at?
It's in Italy.
In Italy.
Yeah.
Now, what does Italy use for money?
It's like a euro, I believe.
Okay.
But they had hidden this haul of cocaine, and the boars, these feral hogs, had dug it up and devoured it.
Oh.
Can you imagine anything worse on this planet than a wild feral hog
That's all
hopped up
coked up.
on cocaine?
Man,
Cocaine, yeah.
it would snort your ear off.
There can't be anything worse. That's terrifying.
Now, are these what wild boars look like in Italy?
Well, I think they look like that commonly all over
Everywhere?
the place. Yeah, the males will get the big tusks, but the featured picture,
Well, wild boars are killers too.
that you'll see,
Very aggressive, yeah.
very
Yeah.
aggressive, and they'll eat humans. They're not above it at
No,
all. I
no.
mean, domesticated pigs will eat humans. We used to live next to a pig farmer, and as soon as he saw that I had 3 wild boys that lived in the house, he came right over and was like, "Listen, I got to
If you
talk."
ever want to
I gotta
get
talk
rid
to
of
you
one,
about
I
my
could
hogs.
use some.
He was like, "Do not go in that enclosure," and I mean it, because they will eat you.
Mm.
And I don't mean like, they'll like snuggle up to you and they'll just devour you.
In high school, we used to have. This is probably not good to say live. I don't know if the owner of the pig farm knows, but we used to have pig rodeos
Yeah.
down there on Durfee. The guy
Yeah.
that had the pigs, we'd hop in his pig pen and have pig rodeos throughout the night, and
So-
never fed any of them, but
So this gang, it's made up of Italian and Albanians. They had buried this cocaine in jars, and every 2 months or so, they would go dig up these jars.
that's why you don't mix truffles with your Coke. 'Cause
And-
pigs dig up truffles.
and they would dig up these jars and then take the drugs and replace the drugs and whatever. However, the snouts of these wild boars found the jars.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah.
the wiretap found the drug dealers that the boars
Did they
ate their-
laugh
ate
and
their stuff.
order more boars brought?
Well, I think they used it, but it's kind of hard to have evidence if the boars have eaten it up. So
Have to do blood samples from the
yeah,
boars.
I mean, yeah,
It's like,
they
prove
could have
those are
got
my
it
goats.
anywhere.
Yeah.
What makes you think I'm the boar's dealer? You know, the hell of an argument. But
Boars keep coming back. They're like hanging out on your door, itching.
I just
Bringing
think
you
it's
stolen car stereos.
yeah. I just think there's probably nothing worse than a coked up wild boar.
The boars never shut up. Just snorting all night long. All right. I've got an old story. This comes from it's called the POL, the People of Lancaster. Lancaster, Pennsylvania is due to have an influx of business or industry coming.
Lancaster?
Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Now, it's an older story. This comes out from July, but I saw it and I have to share it. Now, there's a California-based marital aid company called Mr. Fister, who is opening a business in Lancaster,
No.
which will bring 150 new jobs to your county.
Mr. Fister cannot be your average marital aid company. This is like a specialty.
Now,
Did you hear Grandma just got hired on at the new Mr. Fister plant? She's in charge of quality control.
work was a real cock today.
What a pain in the ass.
The CEO, Anita Longerman. Oh my gosh.
If that's not a great
Did they
name.
wait outside of the college as she graduated? Have we got a job for you? Man, so they're opening up a new business. So you can work on
How many jobs?
on the 150.
Lord have
You
mercy.
can work on the production line if you'd like. See, I work at a substantial business out here in the county, and it doesn't have 150. And man, they've got as you can see on the screen, they've got a couple of different.
There must be quite the demand.
Yeah, there's a couple of different items they have for sale. They've got, I guess, you could call it the fist bump.
There you go. Hey,
They've got.
I'll never do that again.
They've got a.
You ruined it.
They've got a penis squid, a leviathan, if you will.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so now I imagine that's probably a rough job on your first couple of days. You know,
You don't want to be the person that's used to that kind of paraphernalia.
Yeah.
That should always shock you. If you ever find yourself in a position where Mr. Fister doesn't shock you,
It's just like, wow, what model is that?
You have been overexposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Desensitized.
Now, in a lead off to today's show, I saw a story. In Uganda, chimps are killing people. They're
Are they mobilizing?
they're pulling off the arms and
That is
opening
Terrible way to die.
and opening up the stomach and removing kidneys and going for the
genitalia.
well,
They do to each other.
yeah, they do to humans too.
Oh.
Says chimpanzees are attacking people in Uganda. Part of a disturbing trend going on in the country has led to crop loss and even death. National Geographic reports that the problem has been going on for several years, citing an incident in 2014 that saw a chimp fatally attacked a 2-year-old child, stealing the baby from its mother. The mother and the
There's
child,
nothing you can do.
no,
If the chimp wants the child,
no.
They're going to take
Well,
the
they're
child.
going to take
There
the
is
child.
something you can do. I mean, it comes in the form of a 12-gauge shotgun.
Sure, but if you're holding a
Buckshot.
baby,
Hey,
where-
I can hold a baby and squeeze off one at the same time.
I think that's illegal in most states.
I think it is. Oh.
Yeah. There's killer monkeys found eating large rats in Malaysia. So the monkeys are rising up. They're the Planet of the Apes is happening as we speak. But good news, folks in Utah, there are no monkeys here, except in the cages.
Are there?
Or are there? But would it be a monkey? But we'll get into that here in just a minute. But yeah, chimps are starting to kill people. It's been going on for a while.
How closely now the bonobo? We've covered that a little bit, and some of our pre-talk was about that. How close are they to the chimpanzee?
They are a direct family. They're cousins.
Like the similarity between a black bear and a grizzly bear is
really
about how I understand
because
it.
they're very different in stature.
So is a grizzly bear and a black bear, but yet they're still bears. Or a polar bear, black bear, grizzly bear. Each one's just a little bit larger than the other one, but it all comes right
larger
down to the same.
And what their diet is.
Yeah,
their diet changes.
What's the diet of the bonobo?
Well, I sure a lot more meat.
Yeah. Yeah, they're more of a.
They call them lion killers.
Are they aggressive like the chimpanzee?
They say they're, well, from what I've read, they're not that aggressive to humans.
Yeah.
But then again,
they probably had much
the
less
natives
interaction
down
with
there
humans.
Kill them on sight.
Yeah.
The bonobo?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not taking any chances.
Would you?
They dwell on the ground much like a mountain gorilla. They're not. Yeah. They don't live in the trees.
Yeah. Well, there's no trees that it's going to hang on to a 6 foot tall chimp.
Yeah.
You know, a 200-pound chimp.
Yeah.
A regular chimp is stronger than 4 men.
Yeah.
A 200-pound chimp
is just super aggressive, and I think they're conniving. They're super.
Yeah. They're
tactical.
They're intelligent. They're.
How long have we known about the bonobo? I mean, isn't it a recent or semi-recent?
I was going to say it's like we've only recently heard of them. I'm going to say they go back like 10 years.
Yeah,
because that's not something that I think I knew as a child. Like that's a fairly new species.
When we were talking about earlier, I was trying to think the other. It's the bonobo or the billy monkey.
And they might be the same.
They are or otherwise known as the billy monkey. And I believe they're in a more of a remote area of the Congo. And it might be the same deal we had with the mountain gorilla. The locals have always known they were there.
Yeah.
We just haven't.
Yeah, we heard rumors of them and like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of like the mountain gorillas.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I'm going to pull up a few pictures real quick. Here's one next to a human. Human head. Where to go? Now, you'll see just how big its head is. And it's every bit as big as ours. Maybe even a little bigger. So it just goes to show size. It's got the head size of a human head, which means the rest of its body is going to be comparable or probably even bigger. And they're huge. I know I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Probably very well muscled because it's a high protein diet.
Oh my gosh. The guns on these sons of man.
That's scary.
They're just
I think it's funny just how soft like we are here in the States. Because could you imagine living in the Congo? Where half the people in your village are missing limbs because the crocodiles have got them down at the watering hole.
No.
Everywhere. Why do you think we've
gone
into this wimpy complain culture?
Yeah.
You know, because foods we don't have anything. We're not starving and nothing's hunting us.
Yep.
And that's why we're allowed to go on Twitter and say they said this, and now I'm all crying.
Yeah, I'm being bullied.
Yeah.
Not that bullying's. I don't want to say
bullying's
not a real thing, but
let's say we go back to I don't know. We'll go back to 1280 AD on the Russian steppe, and Genghis Khan is storming across. Do you think the guy
then you've got something
that
to
cries a
complain
little
about.
bit fares very well in that. No,
I
he
think they
does
kill
not.
him. They kill him first.
He does not. I mean, he can't even hide silk underwear. They're molest a guy like that.
So what is we mentioned it just briefly. What is the connection they're finding with the orangutan and Bigfoot?
The teeth.
The teeth and the genes. Kind of
their teeth makeup. They have a flat tooth that has. If you look at the tooth, it looks like it has waves across it, and they run in a cross lateral
pattern.
Yeah, and
almost like a meat tenderizer.
That's how orangutan teeth are, and it's made for grinding up plant matter. But that comes from the Gigantopithecus.
Yeah,
we don't have definite Bigfoot teeth yet. Yeah. So now if the Bigfoot's in the chimp family, party ended.
Party's over.
Yeah.
Now I think
hopefully it's
chimps
intelligent
and gorillas
enough.
are in the same family.
Well, they're both in the ape
family
genome, but they split off. Yeah. So, chimps and gorillas are related like us and gorillas are. Same.
So what's the evidence supporting that Bigfoot perhaps could be Gigantopithecus? Because I know it's been postured for a long time.
They only suppose that because Gigantopithecus existed.
Which they're now just barely being able to have evidence of.
Yeah,
I think it goes back to there was a guy, a scientist of some sort or a scholar, and he was somewhere in China.
Yep, China. They've had evidence of them forever. Of course, the Chinese originally ground it up and used it for erectile
dysfunction. But he went into a local
China for only allowing you to have one kid. Will sure grind up anything they get their hands on to make their dick hard. That's a China thing.
That's a Chinese thing.
Yeah. I've already got one kid. I don't need this, but
they're also the lead researchers in penis extensions.
Yeah,
maybe they need them the most.
Who knows? Maybe they've got an underground black market currency in China of penis size and
there you go,
girth and hardness. Like let's say there's an underground Chinese court, and you go in there. And the guys just pull his stuff out and smack it on the table. And the one that has the loudest bang automatically wins.
Is that how you become ruler?
Could be. I don't know.
Be it. You've solved it.
You have the Duck Dynasty.
I wonder how
Dick Dynasty.
I wonder how Mao Zedong got to be ruler. Maybe. He had a lot of elkhorn that morning.
So I think kind of going back to this, he's in China and he goes into I guess it'd be like a little curio shop or something, little knickknacks for tourists.
No, it was
like an herbal
Chinese Viagra pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, it goes into the pharmacy.
Yeah. We have elk horn and rhino horn and elephant tusk
and gorilla teeth.
Yeah. Ancient 12-foot tall gorilla tooth. So can you grind it a little more? It's a little hard to swallow.
He's going through the bins and finds what he recognizes as a gorilla tooth of some sort.
Yeah, he thinks it's an orangutan tooth.
Yeah.
Except orangutan teeth normally, say it's an inch long. This one's like 3 inches long. Yeah. And he's freaking out. He's
it's a find of a lifetime for this guy.
Kind of like finding the megalodon teeth.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. We know that megalodon existed.
Right. Based on the remains.
And there would be more megalodon teeth in circulation had the Chinese not drowned them up.
So anyway, that's what
started it.
That's
all.
what started
Mm-hmm.
it. A few bone fragments from the jaw and some teeth.
Yeah.
And
other than that, there's nothing else.
They've done the testing on that, and they've linked it to the common day orangutan.
There's been myths about Gigantopithecus before that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then but they linked it to the orangutan just by the teeth. It's got it looks damn near the same.
Yeah.
The cap of it and the structure and everything else. So it looks almost the same. And gorilla teeth look different than orangutan teeth. And chimpanzee teeth look a lot like our teeth.
Yeah. Because they eat a combination of foods. They have both cut and tear and grind. So it's a kind of I think bears are the same way too.
Yeah.
Bears have the back
omnivores.
Molar. Yeah. Yep. The omnivore has a different style of teeth for cutting and tearing and crushing. And But we got to keep in mind, though, that most all of this Bigfoot stuff is hypothetical. It's,
yes.
I mean, we don't have.
Well, we're going to listen to some videos today that
might change that.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm trying to get to is there any direct link? Are we just hypothetically speaking that perhaps Gigantopithecus is what's been spotted? Because it did exist, so maybe it does exist.
I think it's the safest bet.
Yeah.
It's not outside the realm of possibility because, like you made, that's the great white shark, or all sharks. They've basically been around since the beginning of time. I mean, really forever, unchanged. Crocodiles, alligators. I believe the salamander is another one that's basically made it through thousands of years of evolution unchanged.
Yeah.
It's the perfect eating machine. Now, I don't know what Sasquatch is.
They fit, like they're not too big that they get starved out during hard times.
Mm-hmm.
They're not too small that they're food. They fit in. They use just enough energy that they can support themselves, everything.
Yeah.
Like the megalodon probably died off because its food went away.
It probably
not enough food supplies.
I think that I guess they ate dolphins and sharks and whales.
Yeah,
kind of
whatever
thing.
they could get.
And I think maybe weather changes, conditions, climate changes, environmental changes.
Say something that eats something else, that one thing at the bottom of the food chain dies off.
Like the algae goes away.
And it kills upwards. And then something that doesn't have a diverse enough diet can't feed itself.
Goes away. Now, and that's maybe there is megalodon, which is every bit as likely as Bigfoot, because
probably even more, because
more likely
the water's a little harder for us to look at.
It's harder to navigate.
And I believe last time I read any statistics on that, we've only actually explored about 8% of the actual ocean.
Small percentage. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
because it's too difficult
deep
for
and
us,
crushing and dark
and even in those conditions, they say that even the bottoms of the ocean is even more foreign than space. More teeming with more life than space.
Well, we don't. In space, we don't know what's
out there. Where it's about as discovered as the ocetion. As explored as the ocean.
The sad thing is the ocean is right there.
Yeah,
it's accessible.
Drain it.
There you go.
Betsy wants to drain the water.
I want to drain to find the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah,
drain it.
She always wants to drain Loch Ness and have what was that type of fish called? Or type of whatever it is.
Oh, plesiosaurus.
Yeah, plesiosaurus down there flopping for its last breath while she goes, "Yep, I found it.
Yep, there we go.
All right, put the water back now."
It's extinct.
Problem
all the fish
solved.
are down in the bottom just flopping. Oh, man, yeah. But anyways, so we've got some. There's a web page.
Is there anything new on the horizon about Bigfoot? Because it's been pretty quiet.
Well, we've got,
I see a lot about aliens, and I know that we've kind of discussed a little bit back and forth that there's some strange connection.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you hear a Bigfoot story, it's kind of morphing into being alien.
That's been a kind of a common theme they've had going on there. Now, could that be because crazy people such as ourselves that are fans of both tie them both together, or could that be maybe Bigfoot is alien homeboy,
a hairy alien?
Yeah,
and it's funny because if that is the case, why didn't the reptilians catch on? The alien bug people, those sightings are there, but pretty slim.
Yeah, they're really
slim.
not around much now. The reptilians are gaining a lot of traction,
and Dogman,
because the Dogman. We're gonna have to do a show on that sometime. That was down in Kentucky or Georgia or something. No, goblins are in Kentucky.
Goblins and
but anyways, the reptilians, because there are governmental leadership, it's catching on. We have better video now. We can see when they blink sideways, and
we know who they are.
We've
Justin
seen
Timberlake.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Timberlake.
Wasn't there a Justin Bieber video we watched?
Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake.
Rihanna, I think, was one of them. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Rihanna.
The Queen.
The Queen
Hillary.
is Hillary, no doubt.
She's a
Why-
lizard person.
Why does she keep dressing like a
Like
communist Oriental
Like a sack
dictator?
of well-dressed potatoes. I don't know.
I'm gonna wear the gray suit. Don't dress like that. Come on, be grandmotherly. Wear a
shawl.
a shawl.
Please wear a shawl.
Yeah, and toss some color at that once in a while, and then practice your laugh.
Yeah.
Does your laugh have to sound like a house is going to drop on you at any minute? Does it have to?
Did you hear that interview? This is totally off topic, but did you hear that interview where they were asking her, well, people say that, you actually killed Epstein. And she went, and then didn't answer.
Well, that's one of the big theories is that he was going to expose all of his
and that's
that have been visiting the island.
You can't even say that she killed him.
No.
There's probably, imagine all the guys standing at the door like, give me a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Hillary, you've got enough. You've killed enough.
Yeah.
I'll take this one.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And she's just like,
it was a foot race to get to him.
I'm telling you.
There's no way that they could have let him testify or even.
And it would have torn down both parties.
And
he knew
shocking.
This is how it was going to end. He was probably like, sitting duck now.
Yeah.
That, or he was thinking his blackmail could hold. Like, I'm hoping he had a dead drop they didn't find that gets released in
something that comes out
soon.
I
hope
be
so.
Sweet.
And then look at the news nowadays. ABC, seriously, ABC, you're still around. First of all, look at the Turkeys attacking Syria, and they show a Kentucky gun show. There's a Kentucky gun show at the Knob Creek firing range,
right?
Where they do every year. It's a big whiskey and guns thing.
Yeah.
And they do a night fire thing with automatic weapons. ABC shows it.
They cover that,
saying it's Turkey attacking Syria, and then ABC comes out and that lady on that hot mic drop, and I'm like, ABC, it's time to change. At least change the letters. Pop a mustache on your reporters that don't have mustaches, and shave the mustaches off. Give yourself a facelift, because right now,
change it up.
If you guys came out and said the sky is blue, I would have to walk outside and verify, because you guys are fucked.
Yeah, might as well be a weather report.
Yeah, long term, like weather reporter for 2 years from now. That's what they ought to be, because good hell, where's their editors at? Does nobody proof watch this stuff? All right, back to Bigfoot.
Yep.
So on Stranger Dimensions, there's Bigfoot sightings of 2019, and we've got a few of them. It lists a few of them, but we've got one thing here that's interesting. It's possible Bigfoot screams in Canadian woods, and I think we're gonna play that. And
okay,
let's hear what this sounds like.
Yeah,
I've heard some that. I think the scariest part is not being able to identify anything other than unknown.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like anything.
Yeah, or if it's just a guy out there. Okay, let me back that up. There's a baby that cries too. So you hear that? That's a human baby.
Okay, so when you listen to that, there's nothing that sounds like it would be.
I don't know. I haven't heard enough. I don't know what a bear sounds like when it stubs its toe, but that sounds like it's human-like vocal cords bellowing.
It sounds like it's got large lung capacity to get that kind of
far away, big old throat.
Yeah, big throaty moan. Most animals are more of a chirp.
Yeah.
Or a shrill, shorter whistle, because they just don't have that kind of lung capacity.
Is there more to that?
Well, there's a bunch more. I think the most After listening to this one, because I've listened to this one a bunch. When you listen to it, I want you to think about.
So you have it on loop for about 3 days. You walked around
pretty much.
With the headphones in.
What do you? Let's talk about once we hear it. What do you find the most terrifying part about this is?
Well, it sounds. Then the baby busts out and everyone pees themselves. It'll find us.
Sounds like it's getting closer.
Yeah, it does. Maybe it's talking.
It sounds so. It sounds like it starts really heavy and then kind of trails off, which your normal wildlife, it's the exact opposite. So, like when an elk bugles, it starts out really low, and then the last little burst is short. But I think the most terrifying thing is there's a baby.
Oh. What if it's talking to the others? Like, hey, found lunch.
It's doing the roll call.
Ding, 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 ringing the lunch triangle bell.
And it's sustained, where other animals don't call like that and keep calling like that.
I still wonder if the Bigfoot just like stepped on a thorn or stubbed its toe, and it's
like Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
See, I think right there is you have people that are probably a young couple with their baby or whatever, and they're out camping. They've got their camp all set up. It's nice and dark. They got their fire going. This starts up, and they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
They're
how
like, "Let's
fast.
get everything together." The baby cries. First, you can hear them shush it. Like,
Yeah.
you can almost hear them try to shush the baby.
Yeah.
And then all the scuffling and the moving around and the clanking is them gathering their stuff.
Yeah, like, all right, tent's going
and this
down.
is like,
No, tent's not
Just
going
leave
down.
Leave it. Get in the car.
Exactly. Just leave it.
I mean, you're in the car right now. Obviously, it's a scary movie. First you try the house key, that doesn't work. Then the engine
Then the car won't
floods.
start.
No, I think the scariest part about that was just that the child was there. And
Yeah.
Could you imagine being out there like,
Oh yeah,
the hell, you know?
That's scary stuff. Oh,
That's just nothing compared to like the Sierra Sounds, though. If I was in
play
my
a few of
my
those.
shelter and I heard those noises out there, I'd probably just.
And
I sure as hell wouldn't go back.
Tell us a little bit about who the Sierra guys are and where these are located, or where they're filming or listening to these.
Most of them come out of like, I believe it's the 70s, the later 70s. And these guys are recording with the old recorders, like the old tape recorder. There's no really high-tech gear here, so you know it's that close. Like that recorder is either in his hand or sitting right outside the cabin or the shelter that they have put up there.
Hell no.
And they're listening to what's going on. And these guys are barricaded themselves inside.
Oh yeah.
So who are these guys?
They're like a group of friends and guys that used to get together and take their horses out and they'd go camp, like a kind of like.
So they're not like professional.
They weren't hunters. No, at the time that these guys first come across this, they weren't professional hunters.
So they're just out.
They're just
backpacking in.
Out horsebacking.
Horseback riding in.
They park at the trailhead down there, wherever it is, and I don't know exactly where this is, but they park. They get their horses out. They pack all their gear in, and they head back in the hills for a hunting, camping type trip. And the first night they're out, they run across this noise. And from that time on, this Ron Moorhead decides, he's like, you know what?
He keeps going back. He makes it his thing. His hobby.
Well, you would.
Yeah.
If for nothing else, just pure curiosity.
I think so. I think I would. I would
arm myself.
Much
Well-
like you would with the aliens, you know, if you found an alien landed somewhere, you'd hang out there all the time.
Yeah, I have my theories. I've been reading a lot about the Rh negative factor. I think they're not abducting me because I am already one.
Because you are one.
Yeah.
Do you ever have the urge to how do I put this gently? To probe other sad humans?
No, I don't. Sadly,
Okay, good.
that would
I
seal.
want to be a proctologist when I
That
grow
would
up.
seal the deal for me if I did. But
Yeah,
Well, now if you were an alien, being a proctologist would be a great couple.
that's what I'm saying.
It
That's what I'm
would.
saying. I'm telling you, if
Dr.
I've been-
Longfingers, proctologist of the stars.
I have been working on it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get my Kegels game up to 11. If I ever have to go see one of them doctors, he's gonna have a rough go at. Her at 5'5" with long, skinny fingers is gonna have a rough go at it. That is one thing that they don't tell you enough. You got to shop for your proctologist. You just don't want to wander into any doctor's office.
I turned my last prostate exam down. I told him, you can refer me to somebody I will never see again.
Yeah.
He told me I was ridiculous. And I told him, I don't think so, because I know you and I like you, and I'm not going to bend over that bench and get intimate with you, then come back in a week and go over the results.
I'm telling you, my luck
Not
is
gonna
I
happen.
would walk into that doctor's office, and on the wall you'd see like 1987 Super Bowl champ, and you know,
great big sausage
took
fingers.
a hand at MMA log splitting championship trophy over here, and I walk out, and the guy not only can he palm a basketball, but he's got hair on his knuckles. That'd be my luck, and I'd be like, you have to be this or a dentist. That's the only two prospects after all that.
Big hairy fingers is the dentist.
Oh,
Hands
so
too big to even fit in your mouth.
let's hear some of these Sierra sounds. It's Ron Moorhead
Yep.
and his friend Al Berry, right?
Yep.
Now, I've never heard much from Al Berry. I have heard Ron Moorhead on several different occasions.
Sorry about the sound there.
So that's knocking that we're hearing.
So this
It
is
almost
just
sounds like gunshot.
Like rock clanking.
just outside their camp.
Now, if this is the same one with the samurai sounds, it gets crazy.
So that does sound ape.
I would think he's in the Congo or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That sounds yeah.
Like they're not like next to a zoo or
No.
anything, right? This is pretty remote
This
area.
is a remote area.
They're not like in the woods just outside the Denver Zoo,
Yeah, no, they're not at Ringling Brothers.
because this sounds like apes.
This is more than one.
Yeah. This is a
God, if I heard this out in the forest.
gaggle, if you will.
And if you've spent any time in the forest, this is not a common
This is
sound.
not something I think you hear in
do
the middle of
not
the
hear
night.
this
Well,
in the forest.
The crazy thing about this is you're in like the northwestern forests or these real thick ones where you can't see.
He's calling back to them?
And it gets better. Wait till these guys are in there like, what the heck? This is just out in the dark, just out of sight, going around their camp.
This is close. Given the recording devices, this is really close.
Yeah.
Don't antagonize it.
Well, and these tapes have been studied and analyzed and stuff. He's sent them off to different places, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's beyond the realms of human vocal capacity to make noises like that. And then a linguist studied it, and he says that a little further on, unless it's a different recording, it's a little further on in this one, there's actual communication going on where there's a language.
They're plotting it out.
Where, however primitive or whatever.
I get it. I get the one
send
in the,
and receive.
I get the one in the plaid. No, Grunk, you're not listening to me. No, you get to chew out of the cowboy boots. I get the plaid.
I want the chubby one.
Yeah. I need the laces off his hikers, like the
marbling.
Yeah.
See, even they're recognizing that there's some interaction.
Yeah. Okay. Here comes the big one.
Now, we're not just talking communication with these rednecks. We're talking also with the...
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's real crazy.
I would not taunt them.
I wouldn't go back.
Personally.
Oh, yeah. Would I go back?
See, and that's kind of how I base some of these this Bigfoot stories and stuff on, is when you hear the guy that goes out and he has numerous encounters with Bigfoot and
sure,
and he talks about it like it's no big deal. Yeah, so we followed him for a while. I followed the tracks. I come across Bigfoot. He was sitting under there picking grubs out of a tree stump. It was great. I'm
the most leery of those.
I am too,
because it feels like they've created this to create the persona, where you can sense like real curiosity and real fear. In people who don't make a living trying to do this.
See, and that's the thing too. I think a lot of it too is, now, is there any real evidence? We just listen to these recordings. I don't know.
Could that be a guy out in the woods that took a cereal box and made a cone? I don't know.
And it's crazy that
but the woods are super thick. They really are. I mean, even here where woods are sparse, they're thick. I hunt deer. I go out. I get into just little patches of quakies. Yeah. And you'll hear the deer bust through them, and you can't see them. Yeah. When it's that thick, there's that much foliage. Yeah. There could be something hiding. I don't know.
Now, and these guys are in very remote areas. If somebody is pranking them, or they went through an awful lot of trouble. They snuck in behind them.
And it's not like back then you could make money off of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
there wasn't YouTube.
Wasn't it 50? No, it was 60.
It was in the 60s.
It was like 58 or something when the first stories of Bigfoot down there in Humboldt County started coming out on the construction deals when they're cutting the roads. And then years go by, Patterson and Gimlin and the boys.
64 or something.
Yeah, they get together and they finally get up enough money to go in, and then they come up with the video, which is, I don't know,
that one's been picked apart so much.
Yeah, I mean, it could or it couldn't be. And then other than that, I don't think there's ever been anything really substantial. I mean, countless footprints.
Yeah,
lots and lots of hair samples.
Lots of hair samples that
from all over the place,
and a lot of them come back. They come back goat, they come back cow, they come back
lots of bear,
dogs, lots of bear. Or they don't come back at all.
Like the FBI one that he did finally get it this year, but he's like 93 years old now.
Yeah.
So
and it's probably been so mishandled and contaminated from over all the years and DNA breaks down. I don't know to what rate. I get most of my stuff off CSI, so CSI Miami. So
first thing what you have to do is low cut top, push up raw, and then
only then are you ready to collect samples.
Now, when you're cutting a body open, 6-inch hills works best.
Yeah,
shocking.
It's true.
You want that elevation, so you're above the body looking down.
Yeah, but I don't know. As far as the Bigfoot thing goes, it's. I think it's really fun. I think it's one of those mysteries that'll probably never really be.
And you know what? If we were to find if we were to find proof that Bigfoot didn't exist,
Mhm.
keep that quiet.
Yeah, keep it quiet.
Let some joy exist in the world.
Yeah, did you see they had I think it was the Bigfoot festival?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they have a Bigfoot festival.
Oh yeah,
now.
they have it's like a Comic-Con, but it's for Bigfoot.
But it's for Bigfoot.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
would
I
be.
think that this last year was the first formal year that they've had it. They've held little festivals all over the
Mhm.
place, but this last year, the first formal Bigfoot days.
Yeah.
That would be fun to go to.
That would be super fun.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny that the guys that put on these Bigfoot shows, they travel around, they sell their T-shirts, they sell their books, their bumper stickers, and then they have their guest speakers, these Bigfoot researchers and stuff from BFRO and Monster Hunters and all the other little groups of them. There's so many of them out there that it's hard to even take them serious, you know.
Yeah.
You see them all over the History Channel, and I find those shows, like I think we talked about last time, I find those insulting. Like you're insulting my intelligence.
Well,
Really?
and it may not be the guys that do it. Are insulting.
Yeah.
It might be when they edit it afterwards. Because I mean, after this, we're obviously going to take our conversation with you. You're going to sound pretty bad when I'm done with it. Give me about 2 weeks.
But you know,
or if you got an extra $500, you can sound really good. I mean, how do you want this to play out today, Les?
But they either come across with this most ridiculous stuff. Like I believe for a minute that 5 old hillbilly buzzards from the Ozarks that are so out of shape that they can't get in and out of their truck.
Yeah,
stomping around in the dark.
Those
with
guys,
shotguns, and
those guys are rough.
Making more noise, building elaborate traps. It's like a Wile E. Coyote.
This is
cartoon,
our tracker
you know?
guy, and the tracker guy is. He looks like he's going to have a hard time on any hunt.
He's morbidly
This is
obese.
our trap guy. This is the young man of the group. Those.
This is Buck, and Bucks are special tactical agent.
And none of them have multiple syllables to their names.
Yeah, they're all Zeke, Buck, Jed.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing the hunt for the real Bigfoot any justice.
But do they want to do that?
No, because I also don't think they're in it to really find Bigfoot.
Because then there's no paycheck anymore.
And it's all entertainment. They just want viewers.
Yeah.
And I realize that everything you see on the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, it's all scripted.
That's why we got to go out and do our own. We got to go find the Sasquatch.
I'm telling that from anything that I have found semi-reliable, it's remote. Like you gotta want it.
You know, and there's always the stories. Like I just heard one from a podcast, and it was up in Oregon, and the guy's talking about it. And what really got me going is he ended up, by the time he was done talking about it, he was in tears. And I believe he was really crying. And the problem he had, what upset him the most about this sighting is that this thing was so scary and intimidating. He absolutely knew there was nothing he could do to protect his family. When they first started hearing the noises, first they're hiking. They went to there's some famous caves somewhere up in Oregon where they go, and they went and did the tour through the caves. And after they were done touring the caves, they drove over to a really popular trailhead, and him and his wife and his 2 daughters went for a hike. They're hiking along. He says they can hear something, it's like they stop. You hear that? And the noise stops, and they're going along, and he's hearing something that's kind of flanking him off to the side, and he knows something's there. So then he thinks it's got to be a bear.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do is, since it's obviously stalking us, I'm going to go ahead and draw its attention, and you guys run for the car. We're being stalked by a bear. And so they're hiking along again, getting ready to make their split off, when Bigfoot appears, and he says that it was so big, so intimidating, and so scary that he just crapped himself. And he knew right in that moment right there, with how big and scary it was, that there's nothing. So he makes them run, and he runs off towards it, and Bigfoot didn't even go after him. It went for the wife and kids. It paid absolutely no attention to him. Like he was not even the focuser on the map. It was, I wonder if
Bigfoot's like bears.
Those are the types of experiences that I would not want to have with Bigfoot.
Bears,
and that's how you also know those videos.
Mm-hmm.
When they see something, they're like, oh, and then they go towards it. let's get a closer shot.
Who does that?
No normal human does that.
Depends. What am I hiking with that day? Is it the
It doesn't
357?
matter.
Because if I'm hiking with the 9, not a lot I want to get closer to. 357, they got a little more spry step on me. Well, bears, it's kind of gross, but bears, if a female is in menstruation, bears will seek them out, sends them into a blood frenzy, and they go, and that's where they start their meal. Now, bears commonly start their meal on all humans, on all everything at the stomach.
At the stomach. They'll eat you while you're still alive.
You're screaming, you're flailing, and they like an active dinner.
They do the same thing with salmon. You'll see them
They
literally just rip the guts out and let the rest float downstream.
Cats go for the throat. They try to take you down. But bears know there's nothing out there that's going to be able to hurt a bear. You know?
Not really, no.
No, they're just not. Their skin's too thick.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, bears fight each other.
Yeah.
You know, a bear swats a dog or a mountain lion.
It's over.
That mountain lion's rethinking its life. Yeah. It's you know, searching up a new religion, whatever. But a bear can swat another bear, and the other bears go, okay.
Yeah.
So they don't have anything to worry about. So they just go for what they want first. Where the mountain lion wants to stop the prey from squirming, so then it can concentrate. So a bear, if a female is in menstruation, the bear will start dinner there.
See, and a lot of times too, that if Bigfoot is an animal and there smells a female,
omnivorous like a bear, big like a bear,
they go for the weakest, easiest,
natural threat like a bear.
Yeah. Or
That's
maybe he's attracted to the women. Bigfoot's looking for a mate.
That's
like
either one of those
Bigfoot romance
or
novels.
kids. You know, maybe Bigfoot they find they're attracted to children because their meat's tender.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like veal.
Or it's just like an ant that wants to kiss your cheek.
Yeah.
Oh, come here.
Yeah.
Grab you in.
That's a scary account.
And another one that I've heard recently on a different podcast was they interview the guy and he's out elk hunting and he's following the trail and he separates from his group. You go this ridge, I'll go this ridge. He comes onto a little thicket where he thought there was an elk in there. And so he watches it and he does his calling and there's nothing and he's going further down and he notices there's like a little break-off trail that goes into this thicket. So he goes in through super thick briars. He said it was like almost so thick you had to crawl through and really force your way through. And then he gets into it and it opens up and it's a huge empty spot. And he says the ground's so trampled, it's like somebody's been marching around in there for 100 years. Nothing's growing out of there. It's just hard, dry, packed, dusty dirt. But it is totally littered all around the outside edges with animal bones. And you think, well, that's weird. So he gets looking around and he recognizes there's deer bones, there's elk bones, there's coyote, all kinds of little rodent bones and stuff. And there's garbage thrown around in there, a few pieces of garbage. And he sees what he thinks is an old blanket and he pulls it. And it turns out it's like an old coat, like an old heavy-duty pea coat. Well, inside the coat are the remains of a person. They're not still stinky and dead. They're pretty much bones. They've been
just decayed away,
you know. But what was missing was everything below. And he found the guy's identification and his hunting license in the pocket.
The big pieces of meat and the organs.
What if missing 411 is just
that's been postulated
Bigfoot
a lot?
Encounters gone awry.
Yeah.
You know, maybe next week we'll have to do a reading of the Bigfoot romantic novels.
Let's not
get the goriness out of our minds.
Yeah. But, you know, and that's another story. This guy says that it was so disturbing. He said he never saw Bigfoot. He didn't think he's been followed. But he said, what could do this? And what would drag a hunter or a body in there? And where's the lower half?
Yeah.
You know?
It's in the scattered just outside
mixed in with the other bones, or is it spread out?
He takes the guy's license and identification that he finds in the old wallet, takes it back, contacts the sheriff's department and the authorities, and they go back up there and they investigate it. And they come back and they tell him, okay, is there anything else that we should know that you haven't told us? And he's like, no. I said, they tell him we'll be in touch. never heard from him again.
Mm.
And he said that, you know
Yeah.
what? Just knowing that that is in a location where he'd been frequenting all of his life with his buddies and everything,
That's
that
how close.
something's living there
Yeah.
that's got a nest like that back in there that's been there long enough. One, a family, who knows? You know, so. And he's like, that's enough. I'm done. I've never been back. I'm done hunting. I don't want to do it.
That's another common theme that you find with people who have a more reliable story of evidence of a creature. They don't want to go back.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
They've had enough.
Have a conversation.
They don't want to get any closer to this thing. The fear, the real fear of being that close, like that hiker.
Yeah.
And with his family, I'm sure he's not hiking on that trail often.
And to listen to him tell the story, it sounded like, you know, he was like there. He says the scariest part of the whole thing was I knew from that moment that there was absolutely nothing in my power that I could possibly do to protect my family.
Mm.
No matter what distraction I tried to cause. And I said, even if it did come after me, what's it going to do? Kill me, then go get them? You know, they're not going to leave without me.
I'm sure that's why they killed the bonobo in the Congo.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's for that very reason, because honestly,
just that aggressive.
Yeah.
And,
what are you going to do?
I have heard conflicting stories that actually regular chimps are more aggressive than bonobos.
Well, Chihuahuas are more aggressive than pit bulls.
Chihuahuas are just about the most aggressive animal
it's
on
that
Earth.
small man complex.
Yeah, Hitlerettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of going back to that whole Bigfoot thing, though. It's one of those deals where I guess you have to see it for yourself to truly believe.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
And
but would you want to be in that situation where you actually see it, so then you truly believe, though?
Yeah.
Because how scary? Because if it's scary, like some of those stories are, would you want to be there? I mean, I like bears. Do I want to see one in the wild? Unless I've got a tag? No.
Yeah, that's something I really wouldn't want to run into. I've run into a moose, and they are neat, great, majestic animals. It was scary
as hell.
Yeah.
I had one chase me across. What's that? What's that little lake up in the top of Logan Canyon?
Oh, is it Soldier Hollow? Soldier Creek?
No, it's the little lake. It's not Tybee Lake. It's
It chased you?
Oh, it's Soldier Springs that's up there.
Yeah, Mom's got pictures of it as they stood and laughed. Now it didn't chase me on land, because I would have mud holes stopped to me. It chased me in the water while I was on one of them little stupid float tubes with those stupid almost flippers on.
No.
And it come out of the thrushes, pops its head out, and I'm about 40 yards away at the time. Pops its head out. It's got
the big dishes,
full paddles coming out. I'm like, that's neat. Moose, real life, cool. Not a great big moose. It was, middle-sized moose. Goes back in.
Just still the size of a horse.
And then pops its head out and starts swimming towards me. Or it might have been walking. I don't know how deep the water was. I know I wasn't touching it. Yeah. And I'm like... And I start kicking these little almost paddles. They come off the end of your feet like yonder, right? They don't doing shit.
You're leaning forward.
Just wearing yourself out.
I am going for broke. Mom is on shore laughing, taking a picture a second. And she's still got the pictures. And the moose just keeps coming. And the minute my feet touch the bottom of the water, I backpedaled, ran up through the stripping all the float off and those stupid paddles, climbed in the truck. I was like, yeah, done. Yeah. It came out to the middle just past where I was, then turned around and went back. And they're laughing and laughing. What are you laughing about?
What's funny about this?
Yeah.
What if it catches me?
Yeah. What if it, man. And I've got this dinky, ugly stick. Yeah. That's not going to do me any good.
Yeah, I used to have to drive through Yellowstone and I saw a ton of elk, but I didn't see any moose for so many years. And I used to call them mythical creatures, like they didn't actually exist in the wild.
No, they do.
Until I was right by the Yellowstone Lodge one night. It was just about dusk, and I could see the headlights of a semi-truck. And he was coming towards me and I was going towards him. We were both traveling probably 60 miles an hour when right in front of his headlights stepped a shadow. And I instinctively just slammed on my brakes. I was probably a block away from it. And he hit the biggest moose I've ever seen. Full speed. And it totaled that truck.
Oh yeah, it'll wreck the front end of vehicles.
I was like, wow, they do exist.
They say a lot of people die from hitting moose in Alaska and some of those places.
Now, my little
big
car,
dishes were at the
I would just drive right underneath the moose.
Just right underneath them.
Might drag belly button down the roof.
Now, see, but you bring up an interesting point. There are probably thousands of moose in Yellowstone. I don't know the exact numbers. That might
I've
be
seen
a little
one,
extreme.
and I would have missed it had it not been hit.
And so let's say Dr. Jeff Meldrum claims that these are from an interview several years ago. He thinks that there's probably a breeding population of 2,000 Bigfoots or Sasquatch in the Pacific Northwest.
You'd never see them.
So if you give each one, I don't know, like they say that a bear has to have 8 square miles of
forage
area to sustain itself. A herd of pack of bears, or I guess they don't even travel in packs, or a pod.
What do you call a gaggle of bears?
Well, I don't think that they actually stay together.
Yeah, they're pretty solitary.
They're pretty solitary creatures.
Yeah.
So when they break off, like Big Ben Bear goes over here, and this is his valley, and that's where he roams and marks his territory. And then the other mama bear's over here in her territory, and till she's in heat, then all the bears come, and then they all split off again.
And then after she has the cubs, they all come again.
They all come again to eat the cubs.
Yep. Bear's favorite meal is baby
But yeah,
bear.
what's the population of bears? Because I've never seen a bear in the wild.
Yeah,
I've seen bear in the wild, but that's the thing. I mean, and if it's super thick,
good luck. Yeah. And I've heard crazy numbers. I wish I could remember what they were. That let's say that 8,000 people in Utah get a bear tag. Out of all 8,000 of those people, you might only, if they all went hunting and they gave it an effort, only 4 or 5 of them might actually get a bear.
Fill their tag.
Bears are the hard. Well, even deer hunting.
Yeah, it's
I'll go out and hike those mountains. I'll cover multiple miles a day. I'll hike around and the rough terrain, and I'll cover 8 miles, and sometimes not see a deer at all.
And the odds are you walked right past one.
Yeah, pretty good chance.
They came right up behind you.
I know I've heard them and never seen them.
Yeah.
Lots of times. Yeah. And that's in little tiny thickets of quakies. No, not even a quarter acre around.
Yeah.
And you'll hear them bust through the middle, and you're in the middle, and you still don't see them. And that's quakies. Those aren't even thick trees.
So there is a likelihood that if the population is small enough and the areas that they reside in are spread out and remote enough, that really these sightings, or the reliable sightings, not the ones that are made up or people in costumes, could likely be real sightings. Just this luck of the draw. You're at the exact right moment, at the right place.
I think that's exactly what it is too. It's the right moment, the right place. And you look at it, and if you have, I don't know what the average lifespan of a Sasquatch might be. Like the old pioneers, maybe were 50, 60.
Yeah.
It was rough times. And they say that, more than half of the children on the prairie died at birth because of complications, and most of the mothers, it was a greater population of people dying. Now, when a Bigfoot breeds and they deliver, do they have?
Is it a hazard?
Is it? So does the mother die? Does the baby die?
Are they real timid about breeding too?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
How does all that work? So how do they? Maybe the populations are really, really slim, and they're big solitary animals.
And perhaps we're seeing a decline in the population as well, because I think that there used to be more Bigfoot sightings back in the 70s and 60s. Well,
if you go all the way back into the 1800s with Lewis and Clark and the pioneers and the old miners, and the one person people you don't hear talking about Bigfoot a lot, loggers.
Yeah,
not anymore.
They signed disclosures.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
So that I can understand why.
Yeah. Because I think we talked about this last time. If I hired on with you know, big tree company, and I'm up in the Uintas logging, and we run into a family of Sasquatch, which would be an endangered animal. Guess what stops?
The logging.
All logging, all mining, development, everything
And
stops.
that's when the 3 S's kick in.
Yeah, you shoot, shovel, and shut up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, which kind of leads into another story I talked about, and it's the FBI papers and the disclosure on, you know, they're going to disclose what the FBI has on Bigfoot. Well, I don't think that the true disclosure is going to come from the government coming out and telling us what they have on files. I think the true disclosure will come from whistleblowers in mining companies, logging, and stuff like that, where they talk about the FBI, the government kill teams that go in when they show up
and they clean up the remains.
Yeah.
Like on
well,
like on
David
Predator.
Paulides talks about it.
Yeah.
When, you know, what's that, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the governor shows up.
Yeah.
And he says, "Want some chew? Make you a sexual tyrannosaurus,
Yeah.
just like me."
Yeah. But no, I think it's real interesting to talk about and think about and theorize about and stuff. But
I hope there is a
go from
Bigfoot.
there?
I hope there's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I want there to be a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I'm nervous that if there is, it's in steady decline due to just the wayward spread of civilization and likely other factors like you mentioned. You know, perhaps you know, the birth rates and things like that. And I also know that it's been a quiet year.
Well, what if there's
for Bigfoot?
like a Bigfoot flu? That's what took all the mountain sheep off the mountain. We had them here.
Yeah.
1 year.
1 year
It didn't just decimate; it killed all of them.
Yeah.
100% to a sheep died from the sheep flu or sheep AIDS or whatever
it is they get. And didn't they have the same thing with chickens?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the bird flu thing that wiped out, and cattle get.
Yeah,
mad
they get
cow.
crazy stuff. Well, the mad cow, that comes from feeding cows.
Cows, yeah.
And they get those, what were they called? Tannins. Well, I don't know. We talked about that, the zombie show. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll tell you what's thriving up there is dang turkey right now.
I know. Those
Turkey's all over.
Funny how when the conditions change, like the turkey are all over. Is there a predator that's gone? Is there less fox? Is there less?
No,
coyotes?
there's a lot more cat. But they planted turkey. But
okay, so
turkey are
they're pretty resilient.
They're a hardy animal.
Yeah.
Well, and they get their big fat butts up into the trees, so they're protected from a lot of the ground prey.
Turkey fly?
I've seen him do a glide. A glide.
Let me tell you, it is against all laws of physics how they get up there, but I've actually seen them in the tops of pretty big trees.
They'll get up, but I've had them glide above me, like they'll come off a ridge and glide, and they've been above me and do like a glide. It's not elegant.
It's got to be comical to see.
It's something else, yeah. You know, but I've seen them do a glide down off the tops of, you know, like off the top of like a ridge next to me and glide across. But then again, you know, chuckers, they have a pitiful flight, but I've seen them fly a lot.
Yeah.
A flop.
Yeah. It's not elegant at all, but
I hope there's Bigfoot.
I do too.
It's a sad thought to think that, you know, we may be nearing the end of the species if there is
such a thing.
Such a thing.
You know, the avenue that's always interesting about Bigfoot too is the Nephilim.
Yeah.
Now that's
the Nephilim or the redheaded brothers of the Native Americans.
Yeah, well,
the cannibals.
That I like that because I just read a little deal a while back ago about the Lovelock Caves in Nevada, where the Paiutes all got together, all the different tribes got together
to kill the redheaded brother
because
he was coming and stealing their
children,
stealing their Indian burritos.
Yeah, stealing their food, raiding their camps, killing their people, their women, and so they bound all their tribes together and chased all these redheaded giants back to the cave, and they burned them up and
slaughtered them in the caves. Well, and then you got the Epic of Gilgamesh. His homeboy, I don't know, we'll call him Billy because I don't remember the name, but that was that big hairy man.
Yeah,
you know. So
and it goes back to where all over like First Nations people.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I thought we'd find interesting. If you look at the totem poles of the First Nations people up there, different Alaskan natives
Mhm.
down there down the coast and stuff, generally topped with an eagle.
Yep.
There's a bear, there's a wolf, the whale, and Sasquatch.
Yeah.
In most of them, yes.
Why would they put
A
a mythical
mythical
creature right in line with
all these other
all
things
the other
that are there?
real creatures?
They
Yeah.
wouldn't,
They,
because they have mythical totem poles
yeah, and
that
that's
only
where,
include gods.
yeah,
And so they're separate poles. There's a pole that includes
the
the godhead,
brother animals, or
and there's a pole that includes actual creatures that walk the earth.
yeah,
And the Bigfoot's depicted on all of
Sasquatch
those.
depicted in those, and then Native Americans with their cave paintings and stuff. They have very similar paintings, and they don't have imaginary animals because their imaginations didn't work like that.
Right.
And you go back, and here's the other thing too. This is kind of off, but it's the same lines. The Chinese zodiac. You go around the Chinese zodiac, you got the rat, the monkey, the snake, the cock, the pig, the
boar,
boar,
the ox,
the dragon.
Yeah.
Why is there a dragon in there? Now, I guess you could say maybe at the time of the zodiac there was a dragon.
Oh, that's an interesting thing we should cover too.
A very similar animal that they consider to be a dragon.
And their dragons are different than the European dragons.
Yeah, they're not gigantic winged fire-breathing dragons.
They're ground crawling.
They're more like a Komodo
Snake-like.
dragon.
Though they fly by magic, but they bring good weather. And
yeah. So maybe maybe Sasquatch is,
it's like the never-ending story dragon.
yeah,
No wings, but
big friendly dragon that grants wishes.
Let's Atreyu ride him. Yeah.
Atreyu. God, here you go, busting out names. I would have never come up with that.
Seen the show, I just didn't get that much
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. Watch the new Dark Crystal on Netflix yet?
I've tried.
Pretty good.
It's different.
I liked
It's
it.
painful.
It wasn't painful. It was pretty good. I liked it. Took me back. I busted out a transformer while I was at it.
I think the best show that I've seen on Netflix lately has been that Ghost Town Gold.
Oh yeah, is it good?
Oh yeah, it's silly. It's an American Pickers type show.
Oh,
and these guys, but they started out in Eureka, Utah, in an old mining town, digging through old houses and mines.
Yeah, people live in Eureka still.
Rummaging up with old stuff and it's just a spinoff of American Pickers.
Is it?
It's actually, these guys are finding old.
Wasn't there like some murder that happened with American Pickers?
That was Storage Wars.
Storage Wars.
It closed up the filming. It shut it down for a while.
Would they find a dead body or something?
I'm not exactly sure if one of the cast members got caught up in a murder or something. I just saw that they're, because I used to watch Storage Wars. I like some of that silly reality shows because as stuff like that really does happen. Sometimes you go to the storage shed auctions.
And I'm telling you, if they're like, we're starting to bid on this, and they open it up and there's a 50-gallon drum in there, I am not bidding
on that one.
I do not want to win the dead body. I don't want the people stew. I don't want it. I don't care what you melted the person with.
Now every time I go into Mom's basement, I'm going to think about people stew.
Oh man,
because she's got tons of 50-gallon drums down there,
full of wheat
and beans.
Are they doomsday preppers?
Oh yes.
No, they're Mormons.
Oh,
same
thing. These are the doomsdays.
Every time they move, I'm like, I want to ride in the back of the truck. Why? Because I'm kicking these off. I'm not. And can we ever store this at ground level? No, it has to be down at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
And hidden behind Cerberus or something. It's always a nightmare.
Has to be somewhere unattainable.
Yeah. And then, it's not too bad. Only 200 pounds. And only one person can fit on these stairs at one time. These stairs are made of,
you got to bear hug it.
Popsicle stick. And up one stair, up one stair, up one stair. Yeah. Oh, you can literally like push the hemorrhoid back in when you're done, or not the hemorrhoid, the hernia.
I kind of think that'd be an interesting topic that you don't hear a lot of is the doomsday prepping.
Yeah, that kind of went mainstream too.
It did.
There are a lot of I think the election, we'll have to get in this another time because
Doomsday prepping is a big subject.
Bumping time. And I do a little bit of that stuff, just in my own particular way, and maybe not doomsday prepping, but
Cody has a go bag.
Well, a go bag and some food
It's
storage.
so heavy. Honestly, if I'm the one who has to go with the go bag, I'm going without the go bag.
You're going to be able to find
because
you just follow the drag.
It's got
guns
and bullets and I mean,
and it better have whiskey, cigarettes, and cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, it's so heavy. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do with the go bag.
I would like to build a still, my own little still, just see if I can. I'd like to try that.
I think
make some grain whiskey.
That would be a good idea, and it wouldn't even be for recreational purposes. It'd be strictly medicinal.
Yes,
for cleaning of wounds, for starting of fires, for cleaning surfaces.
Might be out of water one day.
Could be out of water one day.
I may have a scratch on the back of my throat.
Exactly. Cures infections.
Yep. Cures infections.
Yeah.
They still drink it in Russia for those very reasons.
Yeah.
They talk
in the areas that don't have refrigeration, they drink vodka because vodka is an antibacterial and antiviral.
Well, I just saw the other day that they were talking about in the 1800s and stuff when they were coming across. They had what they called the bitters, which was like pure straight grain alcohol.
Ethanol.
Ethanol, just bitters, and it was a cure-all for everything. If you've got a bellyache, a sip of the bitters will fix it.
I'm sure
you've got this. That's what you'd be prepping in the still.
Sure. And if it doesn't,
whiskey,
the bubbly haze.
And the end of the world would probably look much better drunk.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'd like to do a show on different prophecies and scenarios.
Oh boy,
that'd be a fun one. All right, so we've got to close this down. Betsy has an appointment she's got to get to.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for coming in, Les.
Yeah, no problem.
Love talking Bigfoot.
Always fun. I like talking Bigfoot too.
Yeah,
I think we'll have to get together for Dog Man, Lizard Man.
Yeah,
and,
we'll have
Bug
to.
Man.
We'll have to bring you in definitely.
Definitely.
Dog Man's a fun. That's a fun story.
We got to get Brent up here for the Mothman prophecy.
I was thinking the same thing. Brent's
I think with Brent, we just bring him in and just say, all right, talk whatever you want to talk about. Jared will make dirty jokes out of it, and Betsy will have smart questions. Let's
educate us.
And go.
Yeah. Just bring Brent up, let him educate us.
Yep. And we're working on that. Give him a little more time
to heal up.
And then he'll come up. But yeah, we'll put together a Dog Man one. That'd be a fun show.
We should get together and have a big round table.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have multiple have topic cards. First topic.
Oh, that'd be a fun one.
What if we did that once a month?
Kind of like a game show night.
Almost like a game show night, like a trivia night.
I think you should get the still working before that, because I think a round table
I've got some alien vodka.
Would be really fun.
I've got some alien vodka we could go at. But yeah, we'll bring on a couple people and just round table it. I'll make up some cards. I'll be the
some topics.
I'll be the dungeon master per se.
Yeah. And then that way it would keep it fresh, and
that'd be a fun show. I think we could set that up. I have to get a couple more mics, but yeah.
That'd be a fun
one.
Well, I think that they could.
Yeah.
We could do that, or a mic that you hand around
the table.
Yeah.
Pass the mic.
That, or we could go with the general location condensers.
Yeah.
Sweet. We could do that.
And something like that, it'd be neat to hear other people's opinions as well.
Yeah.
So what do you think your audience is? Do you have any idea? Can you check your numbers? Are you growing?
Well, I don't know. We've hit like a stall point lately.
I think primarily our audience is, I would say, between everything that I've seen, between 25 and 50.
So
primarily female.
Female. You're drawing them in, huh?
Primarily female.
I think that's probably it.
Oh, goody. I got to quit making so many penis jokes.
Maybe that's why they're here.
Yeah, that could be why.
Yeah, women don't want to hear penis jokks. We know that.
They just want you to send them the pictures on their Instagram.
Guys
they don't want to hear about it. They want to see it.
Guys like to giggle about that stuff.
But I think that we keep our subjects pretty broad. I mean, we cover everything.
Yeah,
from,
we talk about everything under the sun.
We're
not
anything weird and obscure. So
we do a lot of conspiracy stuff too.
We haven't done enough.
We haven't done much lately because we had Halloween for October, but we're kicking back into it. I've got the next couple in line.
I dig conspiracies
Already. So, I do too, but they make me feel dirty. I've got to shower a lot after.
Let me throw this out there. What do you guys, have either one of you been up to the old folks home up here, the area 50, what's the spooky?
Oh yeah, that the
asylum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a podcast a while back where they were talking about that. They started out with one of the freakiest places the guy's ever been. So
we had a girl come on and talk about the ghosts.
She worked security
Still
there.
Works there. Yeah.
You know who I'd like to talk to or hear the stories is from the people that live in the senior center next door.
Yeah. So, I think it's not there anymore, right?
It's not. Yeah. So
I think they moved it down Main Street.
They've got a new senior center, but I do know a couple of people who were nurses.
Yeah.
And all of them tell the same stories. So that's an interesting one. We should cover.
Oh, there we go. That'd be. Whew.
Maybe we should go up there and see if we can get shut in overnight.
Well,
they let the ghost hunters in.
We might be able to talk to the owners.
It's a spooky place. One, because
we were born there.
I was born there.
Yeah.
A lot of the
we were all born there. Probably the same doctor too.
Yeah.
All of the original, or a lot of the original hospital paraphernalia is still in the rooms. It's just kind of stacked in there. So if you're wandering the halls, which I had the chance to do, we went up there for, gosh, what was it?
Last time I was there was when Alex was an infant and sick.
It was
Amy worked up there for a while.
Yeah, a long time. Amy did. She could probably tell us some stories.
I went up there, and
of course it's Amy. A ghost would jump out and Amy go, "Oh hi,
how are you?
Have any chocolate?"
You didn't bring a Pepsi, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me take your picture.
Yeah.
They had a little spook alley set up there, and so I, wandering around waiting in line, I was kind of opening hospital doors and looking inside, and it's pretty freaky because a lot of the hospital rooms still have the hospital beds in them and the chairs and things like that. They're just kind of slid aside or moved about inside the rooms. So
the creepiest thing
scary.
about that is they said it was never really actually intended to be a hospital. They turned it into a hospital, and it had no morgue. So when the people would pass, they would just throw them down in the cellar.
The coolest area, which happened to be the basement.
Yeah. And they said that at times they had like crazy death rates.
Yeah.
So there would be multiple
at the Twilla Hospital.
At the Twilla Hospital.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays that's only for like hangnails and common colds and stuff that we have that at the Twilla Hospital.
Yeah. But it was a crazy story, and it just made me think. This is one of the scariest places that these guys could think of.
Oh.
And it's right in my backyard.
It has a look to it too.
It does have a
it's pretty foreboding.
The
way it
the
sits
old furnace
on the hill.
stack and the round facade.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And just we do that, Betsy gives the guitar strike.
I didn't.
Yeah, someone did. Maybe it was me. I just heard it right as we said that.
Okay, it's on it. Podcast over.
It reminds me of scary stuff. What was the scary show where they had the guy that dressed like a country singer that had strung his guitar? Whatever.
I don't know.
Anyways, all right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you Wednesday on the live on the Facebook. Right.
That's right.
All right.
Have a great week.
Thank you again, Les.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.